An air heel-side air railie is the base movement of all of the progressive load and release air trick inverts. This instructional is designed to help riders understand how to redirect the release in order to learn the other flips in this family of inverts. We will primarily be using diagrams and examples from a left foot forward rider at a clockwise cable park. Let's talk for a minute about the direction that riders load and release for this family of inverts. We'll start with the air heel-side air railie because it is the baseline for the other two. Looking at this bird's eye view diagram will help us understand and compare these principles. If you look at the direction of the load and release, you will see that the rider loads straight back and releases straight forward. This is why railies are the simplest air trick: straight back, straight forward. If the rider were to allow the flipping motion to continue, then it would turn into a forward flip that would run into the rope eventually. This line tension allows you to reverse the direction of the flip and return back to a standing position. Let's take a look at an air heel-side back roll on the same diagram. You will notice that the load and release direction is angled differently. In order to understand the load direction, let's talk about the release. If I were to take the flipping direction of the railie and guide it to my right hand side of the rope, then it would turn into an air heel-side back roll. This inverts release is redirected by looking over my lead shoulder while allowing my upper body to come forward toward my right hand side of the rope. In this clip of an air heel-side back roll to revert, you can clearly see how my upper body directs the release to my right hand side of the rope. Now that you understand where this release will be directed, let's take a look at what happens to the rider's load when this direction of release is anticipated. If you watch closely, you will notice that as I load the line, I shift my weight just slightly over the nose of the board when I load. This is extremely subtle and is not a conscious movement on my part. This happens naturally when you anticipate this release direction. Going back to the diagram for a second, let's see what happens when we direct the release to my left hand side of the rope. This flipping direction is that of an air heel-side front flip. The release of the front flip is directed to my left in front of the rope, with my shoulders brought forward and my head tilted forward toward my lead shoulder. Now that we've seen the release, let's look at the load direction for the air heel-side front flip. Similar to the air heel-side back roll, the front flip's load is in the opposite direction of the release. The rider is anticipating flipping forward over the nose of the board, so consequently the load is directed back slightly over the tail of the board. Once again, I do not make a conscious effort of this. This happens because of the anticipated forward flip that will follow my load. In conclusion, if we go back to our diagram, you will see how the air heel-side air railie is the baseline for the entire family of heel-side progressive edge load and release inverts. For left foot forward riders, air heel-side back roll based inverts are directed to the right hand side of the rope, and air heel-side front flips are directed to the left hand side of the rope. This redirection is subconsciously anticipated by subtly adjusting the rider's weight distribution during the load, and then controlled with the rider's upper body during the release. These principles can be mirrored and applied to right foot forward riders and toe side progressive edge load and release inverts as well. That about sums it up. Now that you understand these principles, you can apply them to your riding to learn new air tricks and improve on the ones you already have.